What's up, guys? Today I'm in the Hangar again, and we're gonna be doing another video on my brand new Hangar 9 Extra 330 SC build. So if you watch the last 3 parts, we built the airframe. You see the elevators installed and everything, control horns. But we still need to put electronics in it, so today I'm gonna be putting in the servos. So we got 4 of these 70 kg brushless servos. I think they're pretty good for our application. If the camera will focus, there we go. But yeah, guys, these are brushless, 70 kilograms, so a little bit more powerful than they need to be, but they're still pretty fast. So gonna be putting in 4 of those into there, guys, and pretty much that's all I'm gonna be doing in this video, because I still haven't received the motor. But we got some of these 1.75 inch arms with holes from 1.75 inch all the way down to I think that's 1.5 inch or 1.25. And then we got some servo extension wires. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, guys, so I think the first servo I'm going to install is the one for the elevator. As you can see, we got our little hole here. So I think the problem we're gonna have is the servo's a little too big, which is almost always the case. Yep. So good thing I just recently got a Dremel tool, so I'm just gonna use the Dremel tool to make the hole a little bigger. So here we go, guys. If I can get it plugged in. Alright. Let me get y'all a little farther. Alright, guys, so I got my Dremel tool with a sanding thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and open it up a little more. How should I do this? For some reason my sanding bit doesn't want to stay on. I think I need a new one. Alright, there we go. Okay, so the problem I expanded the hole, but the corners I can't quite reach with this tool. So I'm gonna have to switch to another tool. Alright, guys, so I just used this little pointy bit here to sand out the corners. Let's see if the servo fits now. I hope it does. Alright, so let's put this servo in. See if it fits. Oh no, it still doesn't fit. Why is that? I need to make it a little longer. I think I'm gonna use a marker to just mark it out. Where did my marker go? Alright, so I'll just use a marker and my caliper to mark out how big the hole needs to actually be. So this servo is about, the case in millimeters, about 40.6. So I'm just gonna mark that on here. Oh, it's almost there already. I'll just go ahead and go like this. Probably like that much more needs. Alright, so let me put on my other Dremel bit and let's go ahead and take that. Alright, so check out the middle part. I need my little pointy bit to try and do the corner. Alright, let's go ahead and see if it fits again. Wow, that's sanded. So see that wire in there? Finally, there we go, guys. Got the servo in. There you go, guys. You see that? So servo is in there and it's working. Even got a little bit of wiggle room, but that's okay. So now we need to make 1, 2, 3, 4 holes to actually bolt it in and lock it in place. So I'm gonna be using my Dremel tool also, I think will be okay. Or actually no, let's use the regular drill. And let's get ourselves a very small little drill bit. Alright, so I got my super small drill bit. We're gonna drill it out. So here we go. I just line up the drill bit to about the middle of these holes. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and make some threads in those holes. And then I'll put a little bit of thin CA inside of each one, and that'll be ready to install the servo. Alright, so the screws I'm going to be using are just the regular screws that come with the servo in this little bag. So they're Phillips. I'm going to need a Phillips bit that is exactly that size. So, and I'm just going to use my drill. Let me find a bit. Alright, so I'm just going to put it into the hole somewhat with my hand, and then I'll just drill it the rest of the way. So I don't know if you'll be able to because of the angle. No, yeah, we could. And I'll just do all of them on here. These screws are kind of skinny. They're not that thick. I got them too. It's nice. Alright, there we go. Made threads in all of those little holes. Now we're just gonna put little droplet of thin CA inside of each one. And I'll let that seep in and dry. I'll even tilt it a little more so it falls into those holes and dries. So we'll be back when it dries. Alright, it's just about done drying. So in the manual they say to put the servo with the servo horn facing forward, so the servo is going to go in like this, not like the other way. So let's go ahead and just route that cable. Gonna push that cable into where it needs to go. And then the servo is gonna go in. No problem. Now we can drill it in. Or I mean screw it in. Oh, wait a second, guys. I almost forgot. Before we put it in, we need to put the little rubber grommets. So, let me take this servo back out. There we go. Alright, so, talking about these little things. And what these do is they help reduce the vibration at the servo field, but this is an electric airplane where you have vibrations, like gas motor with. Alright, put all of them in. Now we need to put the little, those little inserts. And I think we can use the Allen key for that. These little inserts here. Just like that. Oh, no. Alright, so there we go, guys. Put in the little rubber things and little sleeves so that our servo is free of any vibrations. And now we can fully screw in the servo. Here we go. Alright guys, I screwed it in there. You can see the 4 screws. And yeah guys, it's not moving. So I think we're good to do the next servo. I'm going to do the rudder next. But before I do that, I think we should just do the linkage while we're already here. Alright, so we're going to be using the 1.75 inch servo arms that I got here. Alright, here's one of them. Pretty big. And it comes with 2 little screws. I think one of these go on the side, yep. And one goes down into the servo. So first of all, I'm just going to put this like close as possible to 90 degrees to the case, which is going to be right there, I think. So let's screw that down. No thread locker now. This is just a test. It's a tight fit. Alright, so there we go. I'll just tighten this one a little bit. Alright, so servo arm 90 degrees to the servo case. Now we need to get the elevator linkage bag and put it together. So I got all of the hardware over here. So we got a bunch of hardware from the kit. Ball links. We're gonna need 2 of these. They're all the same, so it shouldn't really matter. 2 ball links. And we got the linkage is one of them is shorter than the rest. Now it's only 3 linkages here, and I believe that is correct because 2 for the aileron and 1 for the elevator here. But you might be thinking, how are you gonna do the rudder? Well, that's a good question. I'm just gonna have to get my own linkage, and that's not what I wanted to do, but I'm gonna have to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread on both sides of these ball links. And let me go ahead and measure what the distance is from the biggest hole, from the longest hole out, to this one. It's about maybe a little more. It's about 152 millimeters. So let's go ahead and thread on this horn. Wow, that's pretty tough. Alright, let's go ahead and measure this distance. Oh my goodness, it's too long. By a lot. Alright, down to where I don't see any threads. I'm gonna do it on both sides. This is gonna be more tough than I thought. Let's go ahead and measure it again. Oh, it's actually right there. Let me go ahead and turn one of the sides a little bit more out because it looked a little short. My goodness, I'm gonna need 2 pliers for this. Alright, so unfortunately the camera overheated, but I did set up the linkage on the control horn and the servo arm. I ended up using the 1.5 inch hole instead of the full 1.75. I realized the 1.75 might be a little bit too much, and I want to use the full travel of the servo to get as much resolution. So yeah, guys, the reason why I don't have the servo arm on the servo is just because I need to power on the servo and center it, and I don't know if it's in the center position right now, so that's why I don't have it. I'll just put it on slightly just so that I don't lose the screw to it. So I'll just put in this screw just enough to keep it on there, but as you can see, we are getting full travel and we're using almost complete servo travel. So yeah, guys, I'm getting a full bevel to bevel travel on the elevator. Let's go ahead and install the rudder servo, but I am gonna time lapse it because it's pretty much the same process as this. Is literally in the exact same place also, just on the other side. So here we go. Alright, so I made the custom linkage here. Well, it's not custom, I just found it. But, yeah, guys. I think it's ready. So, if we measure this, the distance is just about right, I'd say, actually. Maybe screw it out a turn. Just one turn. Or less, actually. Oh my goodness, it won't even unscrew. Nope. Alright, we're gonna have to do something then to grab this. Okay, so now it's time to install the linkage. So to install it, I'll be using my own hardware because this wasn't meant to be installed like this. So I don't know if it's gonna have enough hardware. But yeah, guys, here we go. And then I'm just gonna put my screw in. And as you can see, it is working. Alright, gonna need this little nut. Gonna put some blue Loctite. Alright, now that that's tight, I'll put some blue Loctite over here also. And there we go, guys. Rudder linkage installed. And we measure our angle. We're getting about 90 degrees of servo travel, which is pretty much the max. So there we go, guys. Rudder servo installed with linkage and everything. So there you have it, guys. Rudder servo, linkage, and we shouldn't have any interference. Yep, perfect. With the elevator. Man, these servos are hard to move. But yeah, guys. Now, only thing left to do is to route the little extension inside. But I'll do that off camera. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. Now we gotta do aileron. I'll just put this screw in here just so I don't lose it. Okay, guys, you're taking a look at the wing here now. I got it on my little stand, and you can tell we got the servo cut out. Here's one problem we got. Servo don't fit by a lot. So we're gonna have to do some adjustments. So first of all, the width 21.2. As you can see, we're gonna need to stretch it out a lot. Alright, I marked the width. Now the length. It's about 40.1. The length, it's gonna have to be about something like this. Alright. Let me go ahead and mark that in black marker. Alright, so pretty much we're gonna have to remove all this material that I just marked in black. Alright. We're gonna have to remove all that material, and then we can fit the servo in. So I'm gonna use my Dremel again, but with a drill bit this time instead of sanding. I'll try to see if I can like sort of use it as a CNC machine almost. All right. Got it screwed in there. My drill bit, giant drill bit. And I'm just gonna go around until it fully clears out. Yeah, so that doesn't work that good. I think we're just not using it. Okay, so just like that, it's almost at full size. I can do the corners now. Yeah, guys, it's not working. That side was really hard. I think I'm gonna have to bring the sawzall and just cut the corners with that. Or I might just do the whole thing with that next time. Alright, so I finally got the servo in there, as y'all can see. We need to drill the holes for it. So just like the elevator and rudder, I'm just gonna drill straight down. Or actually, I'll do it after I put in the rubber grommets. I haven't put the rubber grommets in yet. So let me put in the rubber grommet. All right. Okay, so see, I got the little rubber thing in. Now we can put the third one and then drill the holes. This corner here still has a little difficulty, there we go. Alright, so I'm gonna grab my drill and then just drill down. Now we just gotta put some threads in those holes, and then we'll be ready to start refining. Alright, now I'm gonna put a little drop of thin CA inside of each one of those. And then I'm just gonna tap it. Get that CA to drop in there, and I'll be back when it dries. Alright, the CA has fully dried. Now we can permanently install the servo. So I'm just gonna route the cable in. And this one goes with the servo horn facing towards that way because it has a shorter linkage. And yeah, so let's put in the screws. And then one more. Where did the last one go? Alright, and just like that, wing servo installed. That's not going anywhere. And yeah guys, we should be able to do the other wing just the same as this. But before we do the other wing, let's go ahead and do the linkage. So linkage, same process as the elevator and rudder. Now on the ailerons here, I don't know if I'm going to be using the full 1.5 inch length, 1.75 I mean, length servo horn, because this is a huge arm. I don't think we need that big of an arm for this. I might go with the inside. I'm aiming for the typical 37 degrees up and 37 down. So alright, I just put it on, not tight, but just enough to hold it on there, because I'm just gonna test it. So I'm gonna put the arm 90 degrees to the case, and then we're gonna measure what's the distance from. I think we can probably do the inside hole. Actually, I only need 37 degrees, so it's not much travel we need. So from the inside hole to there, it's about 77.8 millimeters. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread on the ball links. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and measure this. Oh, we're super long. Too long. I think it might have supposed to be the other way. Alright, I threaded the rods as close as possible. I mean, it's close, it's still a little long. Alright, so yeah, the aileron horn was supposed to be closer to the front of the wing. So I'll be back when I get it the right way. Okay, I flipped it around. Now we got the servo arm on this side. I put it 90 degrees to the case, and let's go ahead and take a measurement again from the inside hole to the only hole on the horn. Got about 101.65 millimeters. So yeah, we're gonna have to unscrew this control linkage quite a bit. Oh, I screwed on the other side. What? How is that even possible? Alright, just gotta unscrew this side a little. Let's see. Really close. Actually, could do one more turn out or something. Okay, so here's our linkage. Inside hole to the control horn. This needs a little more still. I'm just doing it by hand now. Oh, wait a second. Whoops. I didn't realize I forgot to center the aileron. Too long. Super long. We're going to have to use the drill. Center the aileron. And there we go. Super close or exactly on there. Let's go ahead and get the hardware to install it. So, I'm gonna use one of my M3 to M2 converter adapter thingies, because the hole on the servo arm is a M3, but I need a M2. So I'm going to put a little bit of red Loctite for this. Alright. And I'm going to thread this into the inside hole. Just like that. I'm going to wipe off the extra thread locker, and I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. So we'll be back when that thread locker at least gets hard enough so that it won't slip. But before I do, I'm just gonna put the linkage on the horn, control horn side. And we're gonna be using an M2 screw, 1, 2, 3 washers, and a nut. So a nut. Now I need to get I should just put this in a little tray here. There we go. So I'm gonna grab 3 washers. Alright. So I'm gonna put a washer between the screw head and the ball link. And then another washer between the ball link and the control horn. Then I'm gonna put it onto the control horn. Then I'm gonna put another washer on the other side. Then I'll put on my nut with a little bit of blue Loctite. Okay. Gonna grab my Phillips screw. Yep, just like that. And I'll just use the drill very gently to tighten that up. And now we can let that dry and this dry at the same time. And then we'll be back to install this onto the control horn. And while it's drying, we can do some slight adjustments. And I can tell it needs to be a little longer. So I'm gonna counterclockwise this. A couple turns. And maybe one more. And yeah, right there. Control linkage is perfectly aligned. And we're back when the thread locker dries. Alright, so let me put the camera closer so y'all can see this. But we're almost ready to do this. So I'm gonna grab my screw, M2 screw, a washer, then we're gonna need another washer, thread in that screw, not all the way though, just checking. Yep, so inside hole is definitely enough travel. We can get bevel to bevel if we use pretty much 90 degrees of servo travel. This servo can have a little over 90 degrees, so this is perfect. So now we need to put a nut on the back. Let me get a screwdriver. So I'm gonna put a nut with a little blue Loctite on the back. Alright. And I'm just gonna thread it in. And then I'm gonna tighten the nut up with my pliers right here. We need to go this way. All right. Tighten that screw up one final little bit. And I think that's good enough. Now let's just time lapse the other wing. Alright guys, I finished up the servo for the other wing. Now in midway, camera overheated again. Really hot out here today, guys. But yeah guys, there we go. We got the 1.75 inch servo horn or servo arm, but I'm using the inside hole, which is, I believe it's 1.25 inch or something. Let's check it with the caliper really quick. Go to inches, 0. And then let's just go ahead and measure it. Let me get my right hand. Alright, so from there to there, it's about 1.2 inches. Yeah, 1.25 inches almost. So yeah, there's where I like it to get perfect amount of travel, but keeping the servo resolution. And servos mounted in, linkage done, and yeah guys, this wing is ready to go onto the plane. And yeah guys, with that we're pretty much done installing the servos. So that's it for today's video. This is part 4. Yeah, part 4 of building my XT30 SC. The next part will be installing the motor, ESC, and receiver. And then we'll be able to do the maiden flight. So yeah guys, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 5. And yeah guys, if you want to support me, you can like and subscribe and watch the long videos. And yeah guys, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.